One, two. Welcome everybody to
Right, okay.
the brand new and
The
improved,
refreshed, the resplendent.
the one and only. What's the score, Andrew?
Drum score.
The drum score.
The
We
drum
have
score.
rebranded, folks.
We had to, Jason, we had to.
Why?
I was even getting fed up with it. It broke all the rules. Right, this is the golden rule that it broke, right? The first golden rule it broke is we had a name that said rude and mental. And anybody that calls themselves mental is the mental. Are they? We've done that in one of the episodes.
We've gone over this before.
We actually
Yeah.
spoke about this.
I'm
Specifically
crazy.
said, then we were like, anybody that calls herself Mad Dog of Hair, you're like, he's not a mad dog at all, is he?
Trust me, guys, I'm crazy.
You know what I mean?
It
You're
just
talking
doesn't
like the
sit right.
third year of high school, a guy comes up and goes like, listen, I'm a crazy guy. You're like, you're far from crazy. Your mum and dad's architects. You know what I mean? It's like,
You're a minimalist fucking
yeah,
child.
it's like, oh mate, whilst he gets dragged around exhibitions looking at Bauhaus art. You know what I mean? You're like, you're not crazy. You're far from crazy.
One of the main issues was, right, that it was like, I'm typing rude and mental. These guys are typing rude and mental. And
100%.
meanwhile, there's about 150,000 other people who are claiming that they're rudimental something.
That's right. And the weird thing is I know for a fact, right, we've got about like 1.6 million listeners out there, right?
Thank you very much.
That's what was given us the shit return of like 42 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So now that we're called the drum score, it'll be like, we'll be full on. I'll need to quit my job and all that because that's all I have to do.
Exactly. I've already resigned. We are the drum score now. So fresh new look, same good old podcast from your two favorite fellas.
It is what it is. I've even got this shirt on. This is a brand new t-shirt tonight. Right?
You're going to have to explain that one there.
I normally wear my Scotland rugby hoodie, right? But after the disgraceful performance, right, so far, right, I'm raging about it. I'm going to skimp out it, but basically,
that bad.
No, listen. You know what I mean? When it comes down to that, you know you've not played for it. You know what I mean? It was grounded. I know it was grounded, but at the end of the day, you have to go and get a win like that. You're like, do you know what? Just give them it. Give them it. We gave it away. We gave it away right anyway.
Hey, you got nothing to be angry about. At least you're not going for the Wallabies, mate. You know, I haven't even touched that jersey. I used to love that thing.
We've already talked about him. That's classed as developing world apparel.
Yeah.
Wallaby gear, right? So, as you can see, I'm supporting the mighty Hertha. So my son was in Berlin for a couple of days.
Okay.
And he went to the shop, and I was like, get me a t-shirt. He got me a t-shirt.
The loyal fan.
Listen, I lived in Berlin for about 2.5 years, right?
Oh, cool.
So I'm a man of many. Listen, I'm a man of many colours, many talents. So I used to stay in Berlin, which also was in the army, but I stayed in Berlin, right? So it was fantastic. It was great. It was craziness, high order, but I mean, so Hertha Berlin's always kind of been a wee soft spot for Hertha. Wee soft spot.
So that explains that. But I want to just touch on the drum score a little bit more here before we move on with the actual show. You know, creating this new sort of rebrand, you know, we've tried to, in the back end, viewers won't know, but like tried to make it a bit, you know, beef it up a bit more for me and Andy, you know, how we're using stuff. And, you know, the problem with the old name was it's up for interpretation, right? Rude and mental, rudy mental, all that.
Of course it is.
And, you know, I created the new name, the drum score, and I created new email addresses, all that stuff. And then
you've been great. Listen, you got your plaudits on social media. I was like, well done to Chase.
Thank you. But you know what happened, Andrew, is that I made the new account and it was the drums score.
I seen that. I went a wee bit mental. Actually,
you went mental.
See when you showed me that, I went, hold on a minute. We've went from an issue about having to spell something out, right, to another account where we're going to have to go, listen, guys, this is a plural thing. There's more than one drum. There's drums.
Drums a score.
Drums a score.
No.
That's mental.
As soon as I realized that, it must have been midnight or something. I just started pulling my hair out and I was like, right, scratch everything, start again, getting it right this time. So here we are, thedrumscore.net, not the drums score.
Here's yours. Right, so I mean, yeah, exactly. I love it. The next thing is coming. The next thing is coming after that is because it's a wee bit smaller. I think it'll be a bit cheaper for us to get kind of merch. So we'll be able to maximise in the profit margin when we sell it to people that are watching the show or listening to the show. We'll be like,
exactly.
It's only about how many words is that? The drum score as opposed to rudimental. So again, it's only about 15 quid. Yep, we're like, bang that. That was another reason.
Quality as well. It'll be embroidered. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we can spend a wee bit more. We can spend a wee bit more on the quality. So listen, I mean, moving on for the rebrand. What have we seen? Are we talking about social media? I'm a wee bit more prevalent in social media now.
Definitely out and about, that's for sure.
And you've seen me kind of liking
let him out of
people
the cage.
and passing my comment on things that I've seen. You were on social media.
Aye.
Giving us a back brief on the Dragon Boat race. Who's that?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Basically, I mean, I sent through a few videos through it's on my thing, and maybe we'll chuck them on in this video as well. But I did like a sort of corporate dragon boating event for the Lunar New Year. Yep.
Right.
And you know, it doesn't really tie in with drumming heaps, but you know me, mate. It does tie in with drumming a lot. And
listen, I know it ties in with drumming, and I'm going to bring. Listen, like the last time that we went to China, I've got more to talk about this than meets the eye. So get on with your bit.
It's coming. It's coming.
Go.
So basically, you know, you get in a boat, you're paddling with about 30 people, and it's a team effort. It's the most pure team sport you could ever do. It's just like you're trying to heave this heavy boat through water, and do it faster than others. So we're paddling along, and the drummer is hitting the beat on the drum, and I'm thinking, this is not getting everybody doing the same stroke, because as drummers we know that it's the space in between the beat where sort of the drumming happens, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, in those spaces, everybody's paddling and they're losing it. So I'm in the boat going, and they're going 1, and I'm going, and 2, and 3. So anyway, you know, I did my bit. Yeah, that's me. That's the kind of guy I am. But we did.
That's the thing. That is a drummer thing, right? So you know it's one and, right?
Yeah.
You know it's one and. And the other one is that there's famous tracks that people listen to his records, and people say, "Listen, you do know that starts on the and, not the one, right?
The e-ender."
Yeah, the e-ender. So. Here's my point, right? So you went to this Dragon Boat race. I seen a wee bit on the Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, tell us, listen, question one. Right, question one.
Go on then.
Did you not have grabbed a guy that was drumming and says to him, "Here, fella, what's the crack? What's that drum called? Can I get one? Can I buy one? Where did you get one?" Because this is in Australia, this happened, right?
Yeah.
So that was what that, because I'm always curious about these things. When I see drums like that, like, you know, the Lambeg or whatever drum it is, my first question is, where did I get one? Where did you get one of them? So,
I reckon,
is there a downtown shop in downtown Sydney that they go, this is the Chinese drumshop.com? Or do they get them for China? And if they do, I know a guy is probably going to end up going back to China. You better get us one of the Chinese drums.
I think you, especially Andrew, but also the exalted listeners, like I'm going to have to try and scope it out a bit more, see how I can get my hands on one of these, because they got a fat sound. And especially, you know what they do, right, is they do this rousing sort of, you know, when you're trying to practice doubles and you're just doing it faster, making it faster, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of a bad practice technique, but like it goes boom, 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 boom. And they kind of do this to cheer everyone up, right? And they got the cymbals, they go, right? And then they kick it into the actual beat when the dragon comes up and he's actually, sticking his neck out and looking at everyone.
Here's a question. Is it one person in the dragon or more than one?
It depends what kind of event you're holding.
Oh, no. On that specific show, that specific thing.
Yeah, I think
was it a bigger dragon than, you know what I mean?
At the boat show, I think it was about 3 people in one of the dragons. But they had 2 dragons.
How did they do that? What if one of them's seasick?
Well,
you know what I mean? I'm the
they don't do it on the boat.
Arse guy. If I'm the dragon arse guy, right? And I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm trying to think. Give me a Chinese name, a typical Chinese guy's name in China.
Xin Wei.
Yeah, there you go, Xin Wei. I'm like, listen, Xin Wei, I'm feeling a bit ropey with the old waves here, right? So meanwhile, back at the dance, she starts dying literally on his ass.
I cannot be the ass today. I can't be the ass today.
I'm not that guy. So that's one. I've got 100 questions about this, right? So, one, you've got 3 people on the boat. Are they on the boat, the dragon guys?
No, they're not on the boat. That's the end ceremony. That's the end ceremony when all the drums and the cymbals and the dragons come out. But you do have one boat drummer, and they're the ones who are keeping the time of the boat. And you know what? I tried to sign up to be this drummer, but guess what? Too heavy.
Wait a minute. Listen. There's a lot can be said to you, right? Right. So let's go for this, right? I understand this is the Chinese community that does this gig. This is I suppose if you're Chinese and you're Australia, this is like kind of Scottish being in Australia, like a pipe band, right? Oh, yeah. So you're like kind of the pipe bandy thing. Oh, let's have a Burns night, right? They're all like, listen, Chinese lunar kind of thing, big thing.
Make it 2 weeks. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question, right? You don't need to answer this. But do you think heavy was an excuse because maybe you looked a bit different to them? You know what I'm saying?
You quite fit the profile.
I'm choosing my words carefully.
If anything,
I don't want to say anything about people, right? I'm actually just asking a question. Is it a way they could turn around and go, what did you say? I just tell me it's too heavy. Like, honestly, you get rid of them. Aye, too heavy. They're like that, the old chestnut, too heavy.
I think you might be onto something here. Maybe it's not how I look. Maybe they didn't believe that I'm a real drummer. Maybe they don't know that I'm a bona fide drummer. Maybe I'm not. It's got me doubting myself now.
Listen, I'm doubting him. I think you should have taken it to them. I should think you should have been like, no, I'm not accepting that. I'm going to lose the weight. What is the weight I need to be? Right, so you should have fired questions back at them, rapid fire. Okay, oh, you're too heavy. Well, all right, okay. What's the weight? You know, like a boxer. You know,
it's like jockey weight, dude. You got to be like 50 kilos or something.
Listen, so what? They're stopping you being the drummer because they see, let's get the nitty-gritty. You're too fat.
That's it.
You're too fat, right?
Short and simple.
Too fat. Fat guy, no boat, no drum. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, right, so you could basically, you should have fought, you should have been quicker off the mark. You should have been like, right, what's the weight then? But what? What's the weight? Guys like, oh, you need to be 11 stone or 9 stone, whatever you're like. Right, I'll come back in about 3 weeks' time. I'm going to be in a diet of berry, as in deli belly. I'm going to get myself sick. I'm going to fly to India. I'm going to pick up some bad samosas, eat them in India, lie in a hotel room for about 3 weeks, lose about 6 stone, fly back here, and I will be that shitting drummer. Literally, shitting drummer.
But you know what I reckon would have been the problem, and maybe they actually knew this, right? Is that me being a drummer, they probably knew that I'd get on the drum and really give it some. You know what I mean? Give them some paradiddles, 7-stroke rolls into triplets. Exactly, you know what I mean?
I've got jealousy as well. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing. You never pushed that. I'm actually disappointed in you, Jason. If I need to come down there next year, I will come down to that. In fact, you know what? That's a good question. Let's get us a skinny Scottish ginger beard drummer, right?
Yeah.
And we'll go to the same guy and go, I want to be the drummer on the boat. We'll see what he says. Right, we'll be waiting with the cameras and all that. He'll be like, I can't use the too fat thing. But, too small hands or something like that. What?
Too small hands.
You know what I mean? The thing is I think they just didn't like you.
It's because they don't know me. It's because they don't know me, man.
You'd have got the gig if I was here. See, if I was here, I would have got you that gig. It's a fact.
You think, I mean, actually, now we're talking about it, you think about it, it's pretty cool that there's a sport which is kind of dictated by the beat of a drum. Not bad.
Be careful what you say. Because we sent a guy to China. Well, we didn't, right? The show didn't send a guy to China. The guy for the show, right, went to China and came back to his like to me, oh, there's no really any drumming. So what do you mean there's no drumming? There's no drumming in China.
Not where I was.
See you trying to pass after me. You're like, Andy, I know I went and all that, but it was a 6-star hotel. I didn't want to leave it. I was too busy watching telly.
He's never going to let me go on this.
And then you like, glibly, you went, oh, and there was no drums. What do you mean there's no drums? So now you're telling me there's a group of people that thrive on drums, that they use it on their boat races. See what I'm saying? Caught yourself out there.
It was a scope
Hands
out,
up.
right? Let's call it that.
Right, listen. So did you have a good day?
It was a really good day. You know what? We got the drinks in early.
I was going to say that. There was a lot of drink involved.
There was a few drinks involved, yes. I didn't expect that to be. I thought it was going to be like a pure athletic day, but just the pals I was with, we made a thing of it. Yeah, why not? And the production manager of this show, Mr. Adam McNally, his boat came third of the whole day.
Hey! How many boats was there?
Oh, mate, so many.
6,
all different
8.
corporations, everything. There was pharmaceutical companies, bankers, all this stuff. People who take it real serious.
See if I don't get an official invite for next year's. I'll tell you what. Honestly, I'll be phoning people up and saying, listen, we need to actually disown these people, disown China, disown Australia. If Andrew Laird doesn't get a gig on a boat,
cut all relations.
You'll be brought up in the United Nations. Mr. President, one question. Yes, is Andrew Laird getting to drum on the Chinese boat race for the Lunar New Year in Australia?
And they'll say, begin the weight cut now.
Too far.
Weight cut.
Too far. Right, moving on.
Go on.
But let's talk about that was the month that was.
Oh.
Which was the horrendous month of January, right?
Gosh.
As you know, wasn't very good for myself. However, we had Burns nights and the such and such.
Yeah. You do a gig?
I personally never done a gig for Burns night.
Really?
Because let's be honest, right? And let's be really honest about this. Burns night, massive on the old Scottish calendar, right? It's busy. I mean, Burns night really runs every week in January from the point of view that, although it's the 25th, everybody's trying to get it in.
Yep.
As you would say, let's get the gig done. However, there's not really a lot of drumming asked for. It's always a piper in it. It's always one of them.
Yeah.
It's the piper guys.
Yeah.
And do you know what the piper guys do? The piper guys just take the piper guy, but they don't say, listen, we could have a wee quartet, make it nice and kind of saucy. No, none of that. Let's just take let's just get rid of the drummer. That's him. We'll have a wee kind of piping set. They'll be happy with that. They'll pipe in the haggis.
It's because they know that we can't do a solo drumming set.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
it's just part of the flavour of resentment you get against pipers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they love to us. And by the way, they love to tell you, they do love to tell you when they get a great gig, don't they? They love to run up to you and say, Burns night, I done that in Bermuda, all expenses paid, plus £500 in my spawn.
The reason they don't want to do a quartet is because when they fall out of time, it's like, Bandcrafty, you know what I mean? It's like... It's anti-Bandcraft.
Well, here's an interesting thing about you. You mentioned Bandcraft there, Jason, right? Here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So, as you know, that I've got things coming up and you've got things coming up, and I thought, right, I need to get a wee practice done, which was today. And we were practicing for Oslo, right? For the Edinburgh Military Tattoo. And so the guy in Drumhall a day, running through stuff, had the music out. Not complicated. Fairly simple stuff. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub type thing, right? Nothing overly complicated. And as I was playing this guy, I was kind of sight reading it, and I was putting extra stuff in, right? So I was playing stuff, and I was throwing like different shapes on there, right? So maybe it'd be like just a straight 5. I was putting in a flam 5, right? Just over egging it kind of thing, right?
Okay.
And the guy was like, obviously, he's like, one, you need to go back and learn how to sight read. But two, he's like to me, he goes, listen, you're making that more complicated than it needs to be. It's not that, it's quite straightforward. And I was like, I know. I says, because to be honest, my gaffer at my drum corps, right, and the stuff that they're playing is actually frying my brain, right? It's actually, it's really quite, it's really quite, I've been sitting doing things and I've been trying like a bear and I'm like, Jesus, man, I'm going to cut my hands. You've seen the Facebook picture. I was trying to smash my hands. I was getting that frustrated. That's genuine, right? So I'm there trying to play that simple stuff. I'm throwing a wee bit more into it than what's needed. And he says to me, because he's a fan of the show, and he says to me, he says, what's the opposite of bandcraft? Because we done it. We played the piece as if you'd play it with bandcraft, i.e. when it's a flam, just a wee tap, right? If it's a group of 5s, just start 1 tap and finish in the 5th group of 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get where I'm going here. That's bandcraft. He's like, well, what would be the opposite of that? And I went, I don't know. That's a great question. What's the opposite of bandcraft? And I was like, could it be, here's one of my suggestions, complicraft. You're complicating it.
So we're talking about the opposite of bandcraft is like...
The opposite of bandcraft. Bandcraft's shoulder movements, not a lot of notes getting played. Yeah.
Loud grooving, yeah.
Yeah, right. But there's not a lot happening, and you're just trying to bluff it, right? So that's definitely bandcrafting.
Yes. Right.
What's
but then
the
you're
opposite?
talking about overcomplicating it.
If you're trying to overcomplicate something, what would that be? Complicraft. I mean, we need to keep the word craft in, I think.
Like,
or David.
Maybe the viewers just give us a shout. Let us know in the comments.
Somebody's got me that. Because I guarantee everybody's done it. Everybody's went, sat down, tried to play something, played it harder than what's needed to be done. And everybody's looking at them going, what are you doing? You're making that so hard, but it's not that hard.
All right, complicraft. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. The guy was bedeviled with complicraft. You have to leave the core. Why? Because you're too complicraft. And then, wait a minute, and do you use that as a badge of honour?
Exactly.
You walk away from that call and you go, and people say, why did you not get a game with him? And you say,
too good.
Because I suffer with complicraft.
I'm complicrafted.
I'm complicrafted. I'm too good for them. In fact, that's what it was. I was too good for them. They had to throw me out because I made them look simpletons. They were something like simpletons. I was complicrafted.
Legitimate reason.
We need to work out the answer to that.
Let us know.
So, let us know. So, basically...
I just want to go back for a second here. There's a question that's been burning in my mind about Burns Night. In Scotland, like, what do you say? Like, Happy Burns Day, Happy Burns Night?
No, you don't say happy Burns. No, listen, Scottish people aren't really that happy, to be honest.
So you don't need to remind them to...
They don't,
you want to put that in their heads, like...
Maybe they do in America or somewhere like that, Hollywood. Somewhere quite upbeat and it's all about the positivity. Yeah. Man, it's your positivity. But by and large, no, it's just Burns Night. You go for a meal and
it's about doing
make good at it. Get drunk, make a fool of yourself. Recite some poetry from the man, the bard himself. And I generally have a good night. I'm a big fan of Burns Night. Big fan. Right. Love it. It's good. Very good. Stuff. And it's actually just, I'm not going to mention it, but after that time of year, right, it's kind of the first kind of big thing, which is like, no, this is normal. This is us just sitting in, getting a few drinks, well, more than a few drinks, and eating food and just being normal. So I kind of like it.
Right, I gotcha.
Big fan of it.
It is nice. It is nice.
It is what it is. So apart from the Burns Night, which we'll leave with the Selfish Pipers, I hope they made thousands of pounds. They cannot tell me text me. Unfortunately, I've got a couple of pipers that I've got on like my phone, and they phone me up and talk to me and stuff like that.
Oh,
And they do, mate, honestly. And do you know what? Listen, do you know what one of the threads is with these people, right? This is a lot. There's a lot of things that I've noticed about these guys, right? One is they're kind of gloaters, right? They're also like, you know, when you're saying about the boats and the Dragon Boat and about the Ultimate Team.
Yep.
I'm actually starting to doubt Piper's dedication to being a team.
whoa!
Telling you, mate, they're
After
not
all
team
these
players. They're not team players, mate. Pipers can't help themselves, right? And I want you to think about this, right?
It's like a lead guitar sort of deal, eh?
Totally. It's the same person, right? So if you get Johnny Smith and Peter Smith, right? And they've not even picked up an instrument, right? Johnny Smith wants to be the centre of attention, right? It's all about Johnny Smith's toys. He's going to be a piper.
Yeah.
That guy is destined to be a piper. He can't help himself. And you know the weird thing is, they can't even see it themselves. Do you know what I mean? They're so self-absorbed. You're like, I can't believe how selfish you guys are. What do you mean? We're always giving. You're like, what?
The drumming's a much more humble position, isn't it? You kind
I
of
think.
carrying them.
I think there are two things, right? One is for, like, if you're talking about a kit drummer, from a kit drumming point of view, right? We all know that's what makes the band. That is the heartbeat. That's what it's the glue, right?
That's what I believe.
If you get a rock solid drummer, you get a really good drummer, you get a really good band. The
What do they
average
say?
drummer,
That's
average
right.
band.
Yeah, average band. Yeah, that's right. They say that.
Right.
Don't they?
But the other thing I was going to say, in the pipe band world, right? I mean, you've got to really be a team guy to be a drummer because you can move as a team.
Dude,
You
because you're
don't.
playing with other drummers and you don't want it to sound like you've just dropped a bucket of bolts.
Well, wait a minute, listen, the pipers would say the same thing. They'd say, oh, you know, we've got to be a core, which they have got to be, right? But they move as individuals. Drummers tend to move, right? As pipe band drummers, they tend to move as a core. If the lead chap goes, right?
Yeah.
He takes with him his people. And they go, I'm going with him. I'm following him. I'm not going to wait in the next lead tupper coming in. Because he'll bring in his own people, right?
Wow.
His own team.
Now that is beautiful.
Like we bunch of hyenas or something, or a bag of wolves or something. Just move a bit, like we group.
Hunt for the next beat.
I don't know. There'll be people out there that obviously disagree with what I've said. It's just.
But that's a beautiful thing.
Actually, it's not. It's scientific proof. There's actually a book that's been written by scientists. Let's say that's a fact. All I could, the boy could take a little bit of salt. Anyway, talking about pipers. Brings me to my next subject. Chanter rant.
Oh no.
Chanter rant.
Leave me out of this.
Oh,
no, please go on. What is this? What's this going to be about? Chanter rant.
I think it's a chance, right? There's a podcast called Chanter Rant, right? I just shared it with Jason last night, so I was listening. I was in the living room. First thing I thought is, I'm going to send Jason this because your opinion matters to me, right? It's
actually, yeah. Go on.
Well, no, it matters. And the first thing I thought is, what does Jason think about this? Now, before you get I know you're a wee bit kind of biscuit arsed about kind of laying it on there, right? Listen, we've said things about other people, but we're only people who've got an opinion. It's not a crime, is it?
I'm actually very intrigued to know that there's other sort of podcasts out there that are, you know, pipe bandy stuff.
Listen, it's the modern parlance. This is the thing where people have any sort of, I don't know, the Cluedo group. There'll be a Cluedo podcast, I would imagine. You know what I mean? Anyway, these two bangers on Chanter Rant, right? So they're full on like an American kind of pipers.
Yeah.
I had to stop listening maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes into it, right? When they described it, they were in a place called Flagstone at some competition.
Yeah.
In the beer tent, right? But this was, it's almost like this general thread of, if I have to tell you how crazy I am or how crazy I'm going to be, then therefore I am crazy. No, it normally means you're a dick, right? It generally normally means just...
We've gone over this. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, right?
We had to do a rebrand because of it.
So they're in the beer tent, and this is the best bit, right? So the preoccupation in the beer tent is saying the F word. Now, you know, I don't swear in the show. I swear like a trooper in normal life, right? But I generally try to no swear in the show, right?
Oh, I also regret
so they're like that. They're like that. We're in the beer tent and we're going to say the word, and we get into trouble for it before. And I'm thinking to myself, if these guys are over than 18, I want to blacken their eyes just for being dicks, right? Because, I mean, we've all been in the beer tent. We've all swore like troopers. So
that's where you let it out.
I'm trying to actually think, what is the point here, guys? maybe they've got something important to say. I don't know, but that was my experience.
They've lost their NDA.
And I just thought it was too needy. You know, like it was trying to. I bet they were trying to go. I'm going to go for shock jock. You know, like American shock jock.
So you're
talking about piping, but being a shock jock, and I just thought, guys, they're just coming across as dicks. That's my personal opinion.
So that's sort of like they're the embodiment. That's like what you're talking about. They're the embodiment of, you know, your general glory-seeking piper, and we're the nice sort of humble, you know.
No, listen, you know what? I was actually like to myself, look, and if they're enjoying it and they're doing it, that's fine. That's their bag. But I just thought, it's not my bag, right? However,
we wouldn't get it anyway. We wouldn't get it.
No, listen, do you know what? I'm like that. There's quite a few pipery things for pipers, right? As you know, the Big Rab Show, that's pipery, right?
Big old pipe.
You've got that chanter rant, that's pipery. You've got another one, I can't remember what it's called. It's almost like all the pipers are like, you know, like this self-help group looking for more self-help people to give them self-help. You're like that. It's got to, at some point, it's got to get the saturation point where you can't do any more piping.
So we are really, you know, we're the advocate for the drummers here.
Of course we are.
That's what. Hey, pipers are welcome. Pipers are more than welcome. We like having pipers here. Oh, or do we? Oh,
no, of course we do. Listen, you know, it's like some of my best friends are pipers.
Really? I've never met one.
You know what I mean? No, listen. The thing is I just think that
it's all bands.
It's all bands. Come on, we know that.
Guys.
Even my brother's a piper, and so therefore, yeah. But we're at the not choking stage at the moment. But bottom line is he's a piper. Big Rab. So
the
that's
man
one
himself.
end of the spectrum. Chanter Rant's one end of the spectrum. Then we've got the Big Rab Show, right? Now this is where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
I like the Big Rab Show to an extent. It's informative, right?
Mm.
He tries to tell you what's going on, and
he's in the world of it.
And I respect that, right? I do respect that, right?
Love it.
However, so Chanter Rant is the yin, he has yang, if you can imagine, right? And what I would say is this: see this RSPBA, the Royal Scottish Pipe Band Association, for them that doesn't know, right? See the whole thing about there was only 2 majors, and then we all thought there wasn't going to be any majors, and then the Big Rab Show made that ludicrous video about him, Dear Santa, can I get 5 majors? And then when they released it, there is 5 majors. He thanked Santa for letting him get his presents and all that. I just thought, no, this is garbage, right? 2 fronts, it's garbage, right? This is where it's garbage, right? Garbage front number 1, right? We're all getting conned here. This is typical large organisational tactics, right? Is always deliver bad news, but be the saviour with the good news. So if you ever think that people are going to be like biting at your heels or trying to get rid of you, always say, oh no, you'll not believe this. There's bad things bestow us, there's bad things befell us. But you know what? We've yanked that hot iron right out the fire and we've came up with a solution. And everybody goes, yeah, these are great guys, right? That's garbage number one, right? So I kind of see through that, right? I don't buy into that. The second thing is, right, is the whole thing about I'm so grateful that they've done that and this is a good thing. It is a good thing because we're all in the business of enjoying the pipe band competitions. But I just think that, look, it should never have gone to that. And that's what makes me think that was this stage managed to actually make a big turnaround, a wee bit of kind of, look, it's so bad, it's desperate, but you know what? The people that are running this show have pulled through, and that shows you that they're fantastic, advocates of this group of body of organisation or institution. Oh. So that's when I'm one of these guys that always sees a bit of conspiracy.
Yeah.
But I'm a big guy in believing that, I don't believe in coincidence, and I don't believe in the fact that you can't orchestrate big things to happen. So I'm thinking, you know what? It doesn't really matter whether you got the five majors. That's part of your job. That's a bit like the guy coming and saying, I swept that street off, the rubbish off the street. And you go, but that's your job. He goes, but I swept a lot of it off. You go, but that's your job.
That's what we were expecting you to do in the first place.
You don't get like a big...
we need you to do it.
We're
counting on you to do it.
That's what you want any day. Sweep the street. And the street was swept. Well done. You don't get badges and balloons for that. You get your paycheck like you do it like every other month. Anyway. So that was 1, 2, 3. Something good I think's happened. Good and bad. Is that they're going to have a major competition before the Worlds, the week before the Worlds, which then affords foreign bands to attend before the Worlds, and then they can do the major, which is at Perth. So the weekend before, Sunday, Perth, I think that's the European. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Probably I'm wrong. More than likely I'm wrong, but I think it's European. Perth before the Worlds. So that allows bands that come from Australia, wherever, they've not got very much time. Obviously, every day is an expenditure for the band. Yeah. So that means that they turn up the week before normally. They get in the major, boom, into the World. So it's 2 major championships that they can get a shot at. I'm all for it. I like that idea. That's good. Yeah. The only downside is it's on a Sunday.
Oh, so no drinking?
Well, no drinking for everybody that's got to get up and drive the next morning. That's for a start.
Party.
Nah,
it's all business.
Cup of tea.
Yeah. Seems a bit of a shame to travel all that way across the world and.
Well, it's not if you're traveling around the world. No, if you're traveling around the world, they'll all be in the sesh. They'll be like, yeah. You could argue the toss, though. You could argue the toss that most people, quite a large percentage of people, don't work the usual 9-to-5, and they work varying types of shifts. Secondly, because it's the week of the Worlds, a lot of people take that time off because they're practicing with their bands most days for it.
Yeah, true.
So we'll wait and see how it goes. No doubt we'll have something to say about it at the end of the year.
Will I not be around during that time? I might be one of those traveling people, not performing.
Listen, you may well be. Because that comes after hot and heels of Basel Tattoo. So
I'm looking forward
to it. I'm looking forward to it. Right. So that's us done that. I mean, that's us clicking into kind of nearly the end of the show. You get anything to add? Anything we need to talk about?
Well,
anything I've missed?
You just brought up Basel. I mean, just give people an update here that we're working hard here at the Manly Warringah Pipe Band. We're working hard, and I'm teaching the core. And something I've.
How's that going for you? How's it going for you?
Yeah, well, this is my sort of first test as a lead tip, as teaching people. I've never done that before. So I'm learning a lot as we go, not just the scores, but like how to work with people. Something.
Are you a people person?
Oh, yeah, go on. I guess I can, muster up a bit of.
I'll be honest, I don't think I am.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a people person.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I can do like
It takes a lot of patience. It really does.
I can imagine.
And you got to figure out how people work, like how people.
Yeah, what makes them tick?
What makes them learn? And like, I mean, we got one guy in the corps, young kid. He must be like, oh man, if I butcher his age, that's going to be terrible. But I thought he was 12. But do you remember? Did you ever play music at that age?
At 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started drumming when I was about 9, 10.
Yeah. Did you have a hiatus?
I know. Listen, you said that, you're like, and I can't believe you're so bad. That's what you were saying to you. Oh,
was that right? Is that right?
You said that. You thought about another career? You thought about another hobby? Like taxi driver?
Still doing it, eh? But do you remember learning stuff at that age and just being like, this is piss? You know what I mean? This is so easy. Just getting it in your head, just like you could sight read like an animal. Or maybe you didn't start sight reading, you're doing rote. But
yeah, well, I done it by rote when I was younger, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so sight reading, I think we've done this before. We've talked about this, but
yeah.
So sight reading was like, yeah.
I was playing piano at that time when I was that age, and I was reading it like it was just a page out of a book. It was no problem at all. But now I can't. No, now I couldn't do it. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, you've got it right now. You can't stop. There's no at no point should you ever stop. Not even for 2 or 5 years. Nothing like that. Just keep going because you've got something here. Because he's reading it while we're playing it, and he's just getting it. And I'm the one supposed to be teaching him. And I'm like, mate, you can do this better than I can and figure it out in like a week.
Well, see, this is the thing, right? But the advantage of the advantage of youth is the fact that you're going to probably retain. You get an easier retention of memory. That is science. That is really fact.
And you're not going out and getting on the pitch every weekend.
Well, that's what you're going to say. You should. Well, you never know. The guy's probably about 5 cans a night. He smokes about 26. Do you know what I mean? He's
still crushing me.
He's like, oh, rough one last night. He's like, oh, where's my effing school? Where's my bucket school bag, man?
I know it's tough, man.
But, you know, I mean, so the thing is that he's got less distraction.
Yeah,
he should have a more supple mind that's more receptive and easier to remember. And so there's that great advantage. The other thing I would say is don't you can't be intimidated by that, to the point of view that that's to be celebrated. And at the end of the day, the reason he's standing in front, or sitting in front of you, whatever, the reason he's in front of you is because you're still tutoring him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You might not be like what you're saying is, you might not be like, oh my gosh, the guy's sight reading it. He is sight reading it. But then, is he playing it properly? Is his actual rudiment work clean enough?
Well,
is his actual? I mean, is that? I mean, he might be understanding what the sound should be.
Yeah,
but there's a difference between playing phonetically and playing correctly. Big difference.
That's true. And that sort of musicality aspect of it.
100%.
I think it's a blessing. It's like it's like the Man City manager resigns and you just get given a team of absolute giants, and you kind of just sitting there like, well, the hard part's done. You know what I mean? Like, they've got all the skill.
True.
But I mean, the whole core's not like that, and I think that people are definitely benefiting from what I'm bringing to the sort of sessions that we're doing, and I think that's, and we're making some progress, which is something I didn't really see happening. I don't know how it's sort of just happening.
Do you think, how many side drummers he's got maybe for Basel?
We only get 3 this time. All homegrown talent though, so that's what we wanted.
Wait a minute, you've only got how many?
3.
Really? You need 4 for Basel?
Because you want someone on the rotate, don't you?
Wait.
No days off.
Wait.
What's he
going to say? I'm thinking?
What's he going to say?
Like he's going to be like that. Andrew Laird, welcome, Chairman. Right, man. I can't, honestly, I can't. I really don't want to do it. I mean, I know it sounds mental, but I don't. I want to come over and just visit for 2 days, see it, and then do what I'm going to do for the show. I
Yeah.
don't want to actually be involved in it, if you know what I mean.
You didn't want to be involved in it at the time I met you either.
I don't know. Well, listen. Well,
You had that look on your face. You're like, oh.
Listen, you got to listen. I'm going to watch what I say. You know? But basically, like, I'm going to say this for the record: the Basel tattoo is one of the best tattoos you can do. Right?
Telling me.
It's fun. It's probably the best location for a tattoo, where it is, how it works, the admin, etc., etc. But I would rather just sit beside the Rhine drinking beer and not playing it at all. So when somebody says to me, you're going to have to actually play the night, you're like, oh, really? Nobody else can do it.
You've grown old and
last night off. All right. I'll do it.
But that's all I got to say on the Basel scores. So that's all happening for us down under.
So I mean, and here's another thing. So I take it because you're going to Basel. Do you think you've got more kind of recruits for your wee band? Because the word must be out that you're going to Switzerland. Everybody's like, I could be going to Switzerland. Well, joining the band.
God, that'd kill me if they brought new people in now just to come to the tattoo. I like it that it's a loyal, the people who have been here since, day one, and they've done all the other gigs,
No. I get that, and I agree with you 100%, right? It's like, it's like you don't want the Johnny come lately, but the bottom line is that it is, at the end of the day, you need people to come to the band. So really, it's a great shiny stone for people to go, oh, they've been to Switzerland, that's great.
Yeah.
Can my wee Johnny go? You're like, your wee Johnny can go once and learn how to play Mommy Daddies and Paradiddles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's one of the best parts of the band, really, to go on and do a tattoo. Like, it makes it your whole life. Look what it did to me.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Look what's committing us.
I'm a victim of that. Exactly.
And that's really us for the show, I think, tonight. I think we're done.
Yeah.
What do you think? We've only got really the big kind of thing that I'd like to mention on the next show tonight is so we've lost what I think is a cracking drummer, cracking guy, a friend of mine's, and I know there'll be a lot of people that watch this show that know the guy, and his name's Neil Sloan. In fact, his real name was William Neil Sloan. Not a lot of people knew that. And I first met this guy when I was like a young teenager. And Neil was playing with Ball Colin Bathgate at the time, pipe band. And he came down to my band, my wee band at the time, which was a band called White Hill, pipe band. It was in Hamilton. And that was the kind of first time I kind of bumped into Neil. And it was one of these kind of relationships where you bump into this guy, and then it just seemed that the rest of my life, we kept on crossing our paths.
Yeah.
So Neil joined the army, and I joined the army. Neil was a wee bit older than myself. And he went to the Queen's Own, I went to the Golden Highlanders. And we kind of bumped into each other, different jobs, such and such. We'd speak to each other. And he was a fantastically gifted drummer. He was a fantastic drummer. Anybody that knew him knew how good a drummer he was. And then the bizarre thing happened. So Neil ended up leaving the army, and he was going to go and work in New Zealand, which he did for a very small period of time. He was there for about a year. And before he left, I met him at the World Pipe Band Championships. Can't remember which year it was. Must have been like kind of early 90s or something like that. Anyway, so he says to me, he says, I'm going to New Zealand. He says, I'd like you to come with me. He says, I'd like you to come and be in the corps.
No.
I'm honoured, I'm flattered, as you would be, right? I was kind of flattered with that, and I says, that's fantastic. I says, but I'm actually moving to the Argyll and Southern Highlanders. I'm going to another kind of department in the army. I says, and that's happening for me now. I says, I can't do it. I says, but if you'd have came to me maybe 6 months ago, that would have probably been on the cards. Anyhow, the bizarre thing is, fast forward about a year after that, I was at a solo drumming contest in somewhere in the East Lothian, somewhere in the Lothian area near Edinburgh.
Mm.
And it was the end of the day, and I happened to bump into, one times, Mr. Neil Sloan. And Neil was hanging off the bar kind of thing, and I says, Neil, how are you getting on? And she's like, I'm all right. He says, but I thought you were in New Zealand. He says, oh, that didn't really work out for me. He says, I'm back. I says, all right, okay. I says, so what are you doing now? He says, I'm not really doing anything. He says, I'm not doing a job. None. I says, listen, do you fancy coming back into the army? He said, I don't know. Do you think I'd get back in? I says, I tell you. I says, I think you would. So the wild thing is he left Scotland asking me to go and join his corps in New Zealand. He came back to Scotland and I says, fancy joining my corps in the Argylls.
Funny how that happens, eh?
It was pretty good. And I know that I mentioned this on Facebook, and I posted a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And the picture's behind us tonight.
The one behind you.
That's that there.
We've got the microphone in the way.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Right, so that's it. So that the picture is us at the embassy. We've done an embassy job.
Could you point him out for me on the picture?
Yeah, of course. Good.
So we Andy there on the.
That's Neil there.
All right. Yeah.
That's me. That's Jason Rennie. He's currently playing with Glasgow Sky pipe band, and that's a guy called Malcolm McDonald, who's not playing my pipe band at the moment. Anyway, and I said this on Facebook. I said it's like one of the strongest cores that we had. It was just, we had really kind of quite talented guys, and it was quite strong. And I know for a fact there would have been other pipe bands at the time, and they were quite envious of the kind of people that we had in the corps.
Nice.
So it was great fortune. We had some brilliant nights. That was a brilliant year. We left that job in Kenya. We went to New Zealand. I think we went from.
So you eventually went to New Zealand together.
Yeah. We went from Kenya to America to New Zealand. Can't remember if it was that order, but we were really busy.
Good.
And we did just a great year, great memories, and I'll miss him. I'll miss him a lot. So it's one of the things that I know everybody says, oh well, everybody's got to go.
Mm.
They do have to go, but unfortunately, it doesn't get any easier saying cheerio to people. And before the thing that impacts the show is before he left, he was working for the Omani army, teaching them pipe band drumming.
Mm-hmm.
And before he flew out, I managed to speak to him. He came and visited me at where I work. And I says to him, listen, I'm doing this podcast. I says, this is bizarrely, I says, I'm looking for people to interview. I says, I think you'd be fantastic for an interview. Yeah. And he was mad for it. He said, of course, no problem. He was a gentleman, right? The guy, he was a gentleman. Listen, and there'll be people watching this, and there'll people know stories about Neil. And it's like anybody in this earth, right? There's obviously stories that people go, oh, well, do you know about this? Do you know about that? And there's a wee bit of roguish element about Neil as well. Do you know what I mean? He was a character. Yeah. He was a character, right? And so there is these roguish stuff about him. But by and large, honestly, every time I met Neil, right, I was happy to see him. And every time we partied, we always partied well. I was always happy to cheer you all season. So we never really had a crossword. We just always get on. So regardless of what any kind of roguish behaviour he done, it was never done. He's never a malicious person.
Yeah,
it was just character. And so I'll miss him. I'll miss him a lot.
Shame we couldn't get him on the show.
Listen, it's a big loss. It's not a big loss because not a big loss for the show.
I would love to have met Neil.
You'd have loved it, and I know for a fact that Mark we are that we had in the show, the last show.
Mm-hmm.
Mark's a fan of Neil's stuff as well. A great pair of hands, gifted drummer, musical, well known by people, and just a loss,
Yeah.
And that wraps up for the night.
So here's to Neil Sloan.
Here's to Neil Sloan. Let's toast that. Neil, rest in peace, man. Next time I see you is when? We're going for.
There's a lot of stuff happening down here in Old Oz, especially with Manly wearing a pipe band. This year, 2024, marks our 75th year anniversary of being a band. So the band started as a Gordon Highlander World War II veteran who came out to Oz.
Listen, I need to tell you, I am a Gordon Highlander. You don't know that.
So thanks to you and your pals, we are in existence. Yep. And we're now celebrating our 75th year, which means that we're playing a gig in April down at the Bundanoon Isbrigadoon Highland Gathering. And we're going to be sort of the main centerpiece. They've given us the honor of, holding the main stage, leading the parade, and, being sort of the main hitter for the day. But the issue I have with that is, as we were talking about, I'm the lead tip and I'm trying to get everyone to learn all these Basel scores. We're now going to have to come up with a set, especially for Bundanoon.
Oh,
hey, another challenge on top of a challenge.
Here's the thing, though, right? I'm going to say this, right?
Oh,
what about this? Depending on the tunes, is there none of the scores that could maybe double up?
Yeah. I was wondering about this. I wonder if there's some sort of 100%. Copyright type of thing
100%.
you can't do it.
100%. Listen, always go with the flow. Don't go against the flow, right?
Yeah.
If they come out with a couple of tunes for that event, and you're like that, here, wait a minute, that Chasing Shadows that we play for that tattoo, guess what? That's getting smashed right into that. 100%.
Don't worth thinking about.
Don't even think about it. Just get it done.
Well, there you go. Then, so that's basically not this month, but the months coming after. So it's hard graft down here in Australia. Until then. What about you?
All I'm going to say is month of March, hopefully, this is a quick one. Craig Baxter, if he's listening to the show, right? Literally, that's for embarrassing, right? This is social media embarrassment, right? So I finished a bowling lesson with Craig Baxter, right? Lovely guy, great patience, enjoyed my lesson, right? So on a high, I come out of the lesson and I'm on the main street in Glasgow and I'm like, I think I'll message something about how fantastic a lesson it was, you know what I mean? And how much I enjoyed it.
Good on you.
And I wrote, I'd like to thank David Baxter for a fantastic lesson. A fantastic bowling lesson. It's great. And I'm like,
you obviously learned nothing.
No, listen, I posted it, right? And then I realised, by the way, I didn't realise immediately. I realised later on, I went, that way I was like, if I called him David. Now, here's the thing. If you want a great plumber from Stonehouse, his name's David Baxter. If you want a bowling player, his name's Craig Baxter. Two different guys. One's a plumber, one's a bowling player.
You might as well get them both.
Craig, really sorry about the post. David, thanks for all the work you've done in the house. Oh, true story. Anyway. So that's us.
That's us.
First episode in. Next episode, I'm going to ask Craig if he can maybe give us a couple of words of wisdom on the Baran or the bowling.
He's also a pipe bander as well, isn't he?
He is a pipe bander. He used to play with Mick O'Neill's Corps. Come on. Fife Police. So he's a very good side drummer. Very good pipe bander. Very strong pipe bander. So
Andy, this is really. I mean, it's episode 7, but really,
wait,
it's episode 1,
it's
season
episode
2.
It's season 2, episode 1. This is exactly what it is. In fact, that's what I want on the link. Series 2, episode 1. Right? Because
that's what's happening of the drum score. So, guys, if you want to reach out to us, just drop comments in the YouTube or hit us up on Instagram, the drum score. For now, we'll get a Facebook page up and running, and we'll make sure you know about it.
Yeah, defo. And a couple of warning orders. Mark Riley. We're definitely going to team him in Basel. Right? That's why I'm going to Basel. So I will get that guy. Craig, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll get a wee interview with Craig. And there's somebody else that we've got on the radar. I can't remember who it is. Doesn't matter. I don't want to mention it in case I'm lying. But he's all out there. All right? Wait for it. We're coming to get you. Right, so know the score. Drum score.
The drum score.
See you later.